And right now, we don't have any, but we would welcome that.
Yeah, well, men, I guess they shy away from crocheting and knitting and quilting,
Well,
right?
I think they do it in secret.
They do it in secret.
And
make
they
the-
do some beautiful things too. So we've had some men come in and be teachers and be lecturers, and they just, the things that they show are really
Well,
amazing.
it would seem unnatural for men because they're said your greatest artists have been coincidentally men in this world, and because they seem to have some sort of a flair for the arts, and it is an art form, really. When you go beyond the simple patchworks, it becomes. I've seen some that are mind-bending.
The biggest thing we do to promote quilting and promote our guild is our biannual Quilt Show.
But when are you having that next?
And that will be September 10th, 11th, and 12th. And it will be held at the exempt Fireman's Hall on Bourne Street in Westfield.
Okay, exempt Fireman's Hall. That's across the two railroads,
Right.
coming down Portage toward Barcelona, and then
Right.
hanging right past the railroads.
And we will have about 150 quilts on display.
Are they for sale?
Most of them are not. Occasionally, someone wants to sell one, and they will put a price on it. But most of them are just
They're like your
exhibit
children.
to be
You're not going to give them
admired.
up.
That's right.
You don't sell your children.
I tell people that I don't sell my quilts, I only give them to special people.
Well, I think that is, of course, that's a very esoteric sort of thing, the quilting. I think there is something about. Well, let's show one, and we'll get a little chance to talk about it. Brenda's going to be our quilter, shower, and Brenda Nickerson is very good at showing quilts. You're going to help out there too, Marcia.
Well,
Watch your
because
mic
I know
now.
it's big.
Don't snap that mic off.
No, I won't.
This is my quilt.
Oh, this is one of Helen's quilts. Helen Sager.
This quilt is called Oh My Gosh.
See if you can focus on that. There you go, man. Terrific.
It's called Oh My Gosh. It's made exclusively from scraps that I had at home.
Now, is each one of those little squares cut out
Each one
and
of those
sewed
little
in?
squares is cut out.
The
and
little
sewed
tiny
in.
ones even?
There are 9,952 pieces
And this took
on
you
the
20
front.
years.
No, it didn't.
How long did it take to make a quilt like that?
It took me about a year.
Wow. Now, this is one of those quilts that probably go for at least $100 anyway.
Oh, at least.
What would a quilt like that cost if you were lucky enough to come across it for sale, which you wouldn't be in this one?
I don't know.
I'd say it'd probably be $4,000 or $5,000 at least. I don't think anybody would dream of
Okay,
giving
you
it
want
up.
it?
It's sold.
I hit the price, huh? Well, that's an example of the sort of beautiful creativity that is exhibited by quilters. And I see more. Somebody's trying to get in. The little light's going. Tell me, how many quilts a year do you make? That's a stupid question, I know, because you might make
Several.
50 little ones or 100, just
That's
one
right.
great big one, you know?
That's right. And some quilts have intricate handwork on them, and they take forever. I'm trying to finish up a quilt that's called the Baltimore Album Quilt. Each of those blocks has upwards to 40 hours just
Wow.
in putting the block together.
I'm looking. You always look at the camera because you're actually talking to a million people out there. We're
I like to
We're
look
also
down.
online as well as live all over the county, and we also go on all over the county twice a day, or at least once a day somewhere. And if you look at me, you're like Nixon. Remember, Nixon could never look. He could never quite look at the camera, and so he looks shifty.
As part of our quilt show, we have a raffle quilt, and we'll let Brenda tell about that because she's doing the marketing
Do you have
for
it with you, or do you?
I don't have the quilt with me because this was kind of a last minute thing I didn't know about, but I do have a picture.
Well,
but I
here's
don't
a
know if you
picture.
can
See if we can
see
focus
that.
up on that one.
It doesn't do the quilt justice. It's got a beautiful, gorgeous border on it. It is almost a full-size quilt, and it was made by...
You can take it down now.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, people can rarely see pictures.
Right. It is called Prairie Paisley, and it was made by three of our local quilters, Cheryl Burgess, Cindy Norton, and Heather Fennell.
How do
and
three
it was-
people make a quilt?
They get together and work jointly together on it, do different parts of it.
In other words, one does the blue part, and how do you?
No, they probably just, took one, I'm going to do this part of the pattern, and, but they work together. It's a nice little way to do it. And then it is quilted by Mary Elfman of Quilted Memories, and she did a beautiful job on it. And the back of it is just gorgeous. You could flip it over and use it either way. So.
Well, now you say quilted by. Apparently, there's more than one operation here. What are the two operations?
The first is piecing the quilt, and that is still part of quilting. And then you have to quilt it. You layer it. You put your top and your batting and the backing together, and then they sew it. She has a huge quilting frame, and she puts it on there, and she does the quilting. It's beautiful.
In other words, stuffing it really is the quilting part. Putting the stuff in the
Layering. They're
middle.
called layering.
Okay, whatever.
Her quilting machine is computerized, and we chose a pattern, and you put the pattern on the machine, and the computer does what it does.
It just cranks it out, huh?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something else about this. What do you put in between it? I mean, is it cotton?
100% cotton, or they can be wool.
And
Be
you
a
can
blend.
put any sort of material. It doesn't really matter much, huh?
Oh, yes. It
Depends on what
matters.
you want for it. You can use a polyester batting, which gives it more loft, or most times warm and natural. I think a lot of people use warm and
We have a
natural.
couple of calls. You want to take a call, somebody?
Sure.
We're not sure. Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning.
What's up?
I'm wondering if today there are any hand-done quilts as opposed to machine-done.
Hand quilting.
Somebody answer.
I have in the last two articles that I made, I totally hand quilted, and I really got so that I enjoy it. We have a sew group that meets every Thursday, and it's really nice to have something handwork to take along with you so that you don't have to drag your machine along every week.
Right.
And, our group did a project where each of us did a block, and so that I have a quilt that has 10 blocks in it representing the 10 members of the group at that time.
Oh, nice.
That has all been hand quilted so that each block, individual block, is done with different quilting, so that there's 100
neat.
different or more different types of quilting on that one quilt.
You know, I
think
hate to tell you this, but when I was little, and I'm old now, my mother would not invite some people to come and quilt because their stitches were too big.
Well, to be honest with you, it is an art. I just took a class
Yes.
in hand quilting, and it takes a lot of practice to be able to do it neatly. If you haven't done it, it's going to take time to do it. And it's a preference whether you want to do hand quilting or if you want to machine quilt.
Yeah.
Even with hand quilting, there's a number of different types that you can do. When I first started, my class was with a lady and she stabbed and pulled, so that you had to have the quilt top taut, so it was
Oh,
in
yeah.
a hoop.
Oh,
And
don't you have the winder machine? You know, oh dear, I don't know what you call them. But you put them on a frame. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
But this lady used just individual hoops, probably about like that.
Uh-huh.
And you put your needle down, and then you had your smart hand underneath, so that would be your hand of preference. I'm right-handed, so my right hand would go underneath.
Right.
You poked it down with your left,
Right.
took your right, and then poked it back up.
Yes.
And that worked really nice. Well,
Yeah, I
then
would think so.
I decided that it might be kind of neat to quilt without a frame. So I went online and watched a lady do this. So that's what I've been doing lately.
Oh.
Now, Helen, she hand quilts, and she quilts in a frame, but it's not taut, and she runs like this. So she can tell you about that.
I think,
If it's taut, when you loosen it, it gets closer, right?
no, not
Sure,
necessarily.
it's just easier.
No, it does not. No, not at all.
I think you'll find that most people today machine piece their quilts. There's quite a lot of hand quilting, but the actual piecing is almost entirely done by
I don't understand what
machine.
piecing is.
Putting
Oh,
the little colored squares together,
Oh, so they sew them together with a machine usually?
mostly, yes.
And then what part is done by hand?
The actual quilting.
okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, we're going to show
Thank
you one
you.
here. Well, thank you, caller.
Yeah.
Send me a stamped envelope. I'll give you $5 off twice.
don't have
The late
Yeah.
fee. Okay?
Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No, we don't, We didn't really bring anything.
Okay.
Well, we have,
False alarm, false
show
alarm.
the quilting.
Yeah.
Well, let's show one anyway. Got people on edge here, they want to see a quilt.
Okay, do yours.
Oh, isn't that pretty? Look at all the different colors in that thing. Can you get on that? That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Prairie Dust lap quilt.
Uh-huh. It's called what?
Prairie Dust.
Prairie Dust.
We're into prairie this year.
Okay, all right. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, I can't tell you how pretty that
This
is.
was made at the quilt retreat. We had to pick our own fabric, but it's all scraps. Turned out very nice.
Do you see the little lines?
Little
There,
lines.
that's good. The
Yeah.
little white squares up there have a line that goes across.
Yeah, they do.
That's stitching. That's quilting.
That's hand.
No,
No, that's
machine.
machine. Okay.
It could be hand.
And what part is stitched by hand?
On this one,
Not this one,
Nothing
this is
on this
machine
one.
made, huh? Not that it really matters that much, I mean, let's just say save time, same old thing, right? I'll bet you, what are the criterion to good quilts? Nobody knows, what do you look for? If you say, this is a quality quilt.
Good
or
fabric.
This is one made in China, what's the difference?
Good fabric.
Fabric.
The biggest difference between
How do you tell good fabric? Whether it's
Chinese,
silk or wool or what?
mostly it
Uh-huh.
would be in how closely woven it was.
Uh-huh,
Good quilt fabric is a closely woven fabric.
uh-huh.
and by feel. You can tell the
feel.
difference with your hands.
You feel it?
Some
The
of it
quality
almost
of the
feels
fabric.
silky.
Yeah.
How about the type of materials? I said silk or wool, or do those count, or velvet or whatever?
People use a lot of different things.
Uh-huh. And this is usually scraps, just pieces of
Oh,
stuff
no,
that-
no.
Oh, you pay real money for it?
Oh, yes.
You don't just, don't hit the
How do you think we
Goodwill?
get the scraps? It's a joke where you make a scrap quilt and supposedly you're going to use up all this material. No, you
And
end
you end
up
up
with
with more than you
material.
started out with.
Where do you get your stuff? Online or
Quilt shops.
quilt shops? There are shops that just sell
Oh,
quilt
yes.
stuff?
Oh, yes.
There's a number in the area. In fact, we will have 7 quilt shops at our quilt show. So there'll be 7 vendors that the people can shop from. And in our handbook, each year we do a handbook for our members, and it gives all the members' names, addresses, telephone numbers, gives our bylaws, gives the TriState area quilt shops, gives a schedule of what we're going to be doing for the year,
And where our meetings
or where our meetings are. It gives our officers. It also gives our
All
The
kinds
object
stuff.
of our
All
guild.
kinds of stuff.
The object of this guild shall be to unite local
Not allowed to
quilters
read.
for the purpose of friendship, sharing, personal growth, and service to others.
Okay, that's good enough. Service
it.
to others, that's it. What's the service to others?
Comfort quilts?
Comfort quilts.
What's a comfort quilt? They're all comfortable.
We could comfort.
Comfort.
Last year, and this is normally done at our November meeting, so that the organizations that get them can give them out for the holiday. We gave away 105 quilts.
Holy man, from,
They went to the Salvation Army Agnes Home in Jamestown, the Children's Advocacy Program, Brooks Hospital Dialysis Unit, Chautauqua County Hospice, Chautauqua County Rural Ministries, Teen TEAM, Chautauqua County Home, WCA Home, Westfield Hospital, and we also made a wall hanging for the new hospice room at the hospital for the
Wow.
auxiliary.
how about including the Westfield Journalists Association? Good morning, caller. We got a caller. Here you go, caller. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. We were having fun here. Go ahead.
Well, good morning,
Good
Reed,
morning.
and good morning, ladies. This is Linda Spalding.
Well, hello, Linda Spalding. She lives over Chautauqua. She's married to the nicest old guy. He's just the sweetest old man.
That dog's nice.
He's almost 100 now. Well, not quite. I'm exaggerating, but he'll be.
You know-
He can get in shortly, free. You know, you get in if you're in the 90. You can get in
Yeah?
free. Yeah, really, you do.
Some of the ladies know Doug. Some of the ladies that are on, they know Doug, and they know what you're saying, Reed. He is not 90.
I didn't say it was. I said he's approaching it though.
Well, let's hope we all approach 90. That means we'll live
I
to a
didn't hear
good
that.
age. So it's great to see the ladies on the show, and I love quilts.
And I'm getting a message, they're saying, turn your TV down.